Hey kids, welcome to lesson 4, parameters in return make. Well, this lesson's a little different than one we've done before. Before, we kind of had to code everything up. This one, well, they gave us a ton of code. What we have to do is finish some functions. If you get a little lost with this lesson, kids, the activity guide is pretty helpful here. Specifically, just the spot to write down some notes for the 3 functions we have to do. If you think it out, it's a lot easier to build. Let's go through the code first and try to understand what's happening so we can understand what functions we need. Up here, we have a list of icons to be used in the game. We have a variable icons and a list. Looks like we have rock, paper, scissors. That looks like that's going to correspond with the rock, paper, scissors we can pick. We have another variable choice, and it has a list as well, rock, paper, scissors. So the choices are going to be rock, paper, scissors. And 2 new variables being declared, a player score, computer score. Both are equal to 0. Looks like this is going to keep track of the score. Moving down, it looks like when we click the rock button, we are going to the update screen and we are updating with the parameter rock. Same thing here, paper and scissors. So when we hit a button here, we are calling to the update screen function, which is this function here. What's getting passed? Well, whatever button we're choosing. We pick rock. Rock's getting placed down into the player choice as a parameter. In this function, we have 2 local variables, computer choice and winner. Computer choice is the random choice function with the parameter choice. And if we go down here, random choice looks like something we have to write. We'll come back to that in a second. Then we have another variable, and that's going to be the function decide winner with the 2 parameters player's choice, which is whatever's being clicked just passed down here, and computer choice, which is going to be down here on the decide winner. And we have 2 parameters here, player choice and computer choice. Then we set the property of a player output and computer output with an image of whatever they selected. So we have to find an icon for the player choice and the computer choice. And it looks like we also have a function we have to do that is that one. And it looks all that's going to do is just pick an image for whatever's selected there. Next, we have an update the screen with the text explaining who won. And that's this part right here, this game text. And if winner equal a draw, then the game text is going to say draw. If winner equal player, it's going to say you win. And it's going to add 1 to player score. Player score was this variable we created up there. And if the winner is the computer, well, same thing. Computer wins gets displayed up here. We're adding 1 to that variable and then setting the computer score up. And that's what's getting updated through it. So the update screen is doing quite a lot here. Then we have our find icon, random choice, and decide winner. 3 functions. If we go up here, really, random choice is kind of the first one we see. And honestly, kids, I think this is probably going to be the easier one to do here if we think it out. So it's getting past choice. Choice is rock, paper, scissor. And we have to pick one of those choices. So random choice there is going to become either rock, paper, or scissor. How are we going to build it? Well, I think we did a lesson a lot like this, kids. If you remember back to lesson 3, exercise 3, we had this random greeting. And if you remember, we had a greeting, and then we had good day, bonjour, and a bunch of different greetings. And then we set a greeting to a random one between the 0, which is the index position, and whatever the length of the list is, -1, 1, because computers count 0 to 9, humans count 1 through 9. We just have to correct that index. And I think something like this we can use to build our random choice. So I think that one's how that's going to kind of look. Now that that parameter is getting passed, we have to worry about winner. And winner is going to be the decide winner function. And getting passed into that is going to be the player's choice and whatever this computer choice is here. So those two things are going to get passed down. What is decide winner going to look like? Well, again, kids, we have to decide what the winner is. And let's think back to a lesson here that might help us. How about lesson 3, exercise 5? In this one, we were getting a month passed off. So if it was a month between January, February, and March, you were born in the winter season. Same thing if you had a birthday between July, August, and September, you were born in the summer months. And this was just a way where we could select. And I think if we apply that same feature here, saying something like, well, if the player choice equals rock and the computer choice equals scissor, well, the player wins. And we can do a bunch of those statements there. I think that's how we're going to code that one out. And that's going to give us our decide winner. And after we decide who the winner is, now we have to start updating some screen parts here. The last thing we have to do here is this find icon function, which is this one right here. And what this is doing is setting the computer and player output to whatever the player choice is and the computer choice is. And on that one, I just think I have to do something that says, hey, if the icon is rock, well, then it has to be this picture. If the icon is paper, well, it's going to be that picture. And we did something like this in a previous lesson. If you remember back to the same lesson 3 exercise of 5, remember we had these descriptions here. And if the age was less than 1, well, it was an infant. If it was less than or equal to 3, then it was a toddler. Well, those were just placing years towards something. And I think the same thing's going to be here. If we pick 1, we're going to equal that icon of rock. The other one's going to be paper, and the other one is going to be scissor. And I think that's what's going to happen in this one. And that's going to let this update these two parts here. And that should update everything we are doing on our screen. Just to recap, if we were coming over here, some notes for building this. The find icon, what it's going to do is access this list right here. And then we're going to create a variable to store that. And then we're going to set it equal to whatever position we are in an array. So that means if we select rock, we're going to make a temporary icon to hold that, because remember, computers can do two things, print it out or store it. So we are going to just temporarily store, say if we hit rock again, we're going to store rock. And then we just want to set that image to whatever index we're at. Rock would be 0, paper would be 1, scissor would be 2. So the picture would be whatever icon spot we selected, and that's just pointing back up here to the variable. That's all that's doing. Random choice, well, again, this is just my RNG generator. We're going between 0 and 2. But kids, really, if you remember through a lot of these lessons, we don't do 2. We usually do the list length -1, y -1. Again, kids, computers index 0 to 9. Humans count 1 to 9. We just have to flip-flop between the two. And this is just in case we want to add more choices. Let's say we don't want a rock, paper, scissors game. You're a Big Bang Theory person out there and you want to play rock, paper, scissors, lizard, Spock. Well, we can just add some more choices. We don't have to worry about updating our RNG. So again, kids, just a helpful way. And then to decide winner, well, this is just going to be our choices. And kids, I think on this one, we only have to code one side's choices. And I'm going to go with the player because, well, it's us kids. That means I think I can use some if, else statements to code up one user's decisions. That means if the user chooses rock, paper, scissors, and the computer chooses one of the ones it loses to, then the player will win. And if that's not satisfied, the computer will win. And then we'll probably have something to do with a draw because that's the other choice. It can either be a winning choice, a tie, or a losing choice. And I think, again, an if, else statement will take care of that nicely. All right, I think I understand what I have to code now. Let's go back here and let's take care of some of it. I think I'm going to start off with my RNG again, kids, because honestly, this to me is the fundamental one. We have to pick where we're going here, right? And all I'm really going to do is I'm going to go over to math. I'm going to drag in a random number here. And my random number is going to go from 0. And we want to go the entire length of the list. But we want to go the length -1. Kids, when I drag this in here, looks like I got an extra set of brackets here. I'm just going to go to my text mode. Be careful of this. It should be parenthesis block. I just want to get rid of that one, and I don't think we need one in front of the list. Actually, kids, I don't think we need those two around there completely. Oh, we need that last one. There we go. Just be careful of that. If you're dragging it in, it may not make a difference. Just something to be aware of. And I know sometimes my computer glitches out a little, and that's just a common mistake I see. So be careful with that, kids. Oh, another thing, common misspelling there. Now, random choice is getting list passed off, and list. And what is list referring to? Well, our function is random choice and a parameters list. That's what's getting passed. If we go up here, we can see random choice. The parameter is choices. Choices is our list of possible choices to play rock, paper, scissors. 0, 1, 2. That's what that's referring to, kids. Keep that in mind. Well, that's going to be our selection for the computer up here. So computer choice, it's going to be a random number. And then the choice is going to equal this rock, paper, scissor. And that's the next part. We have to equal that 0, 1, 2 to one of these indexes here. That's this find icon part. And what we're going to do is we're just going to build an index towards that. And that find icon is just going to go up to that icon name now. First thing we need to do, and if you remember back to here, we have to make a variable to hold this, choices, then our return. Well, that means we're going to need our variable. And I'm going to name my variable icon. And this has to be something different, kids, because your icons is your image up here. So remember that. And we're going to eventually set the icon to that image. So it has to be a different name. So it's going to be a variable icon. Now we're going to put our if, else if statement. And we're going to get rid of that last one right there because we need choices here, kids. And under math, if icon name equals rock, and these have to be literal, kids, to the ones up there. Remember that. Icon, this variable we're holding, is now going to point towards icon position 0, and that is rock up there. So we're setting these three all equal to each other, kids. Pretty neat if you ask me. All right, we're going to rinse and repeat. The next one here is going to be icon name again. And next we have paper. And in that case, icon is going to equal icon. It should be icons, kids, 1. Because the name up there is icons, just like it is down here, because that's what we're referencing. Icon is our new variable. And then one more, kids. Icon name equal scissor. We got to check the spelling. I can't remember if it's scissor or scissors. It's scissors. This has to be a literal, kids. That should be scissors. In that case, icon is going to equal icons at position 2. And again, these are just referencing these up here. Rock to rock, paper to paper, scissors to scissors. Our number now has references. It means something. It means a picture and it means a choice. That's all our finding icon is doing. And that's getting passed back up to this part here, which is also finding the icons to select up here. So the output is going to be, if it's a rock for the paper, it's going to find that rock image and put it up there. And our last one here, kids, is going to be our decide winner. And we have the player choice already, and we have the computer choice, so all we have to do is add to it. I'm going to go over to the text version here, kids. Just want to give myself some space here. So we can see it just a little better. Referencing back to the other one, if you remember, again, we have to create another variable, and then it's another if-else if statement here, kids. And I think we're going to use an else statement just like this one, because if you look, we did 3 of the months, and if it wasn't one of those choices, it was fall. And I think, again, if we just swapped between the player choices here, everything else would be the computer winning. I'm going to have to do another variable here. And this variable, I'm just going to call winner. And now we have to do some if-else if statements here. And I think the first one, well, kids, I think if player choice equal computer choice, then it's going to be a tie. That means winner is going to equal draw. Tie, draw, same thing. And that's our first one. Now let's do our 3 player choices for rock, paper, and scissor. And in this one, we're going to need an and statement because we're going to have to say if I chose this and the computer chose this, because remember, 3 choices. One of them we already did was a tie. Now we have to do the winner for the user. And that means that the winner is going to choose one thing and the loser has to choose something else. So player, we got to spell this right, kids. Player choice, and I still didn't spell that right. And we'll just start with rock from the top. What loses to rock? Well, scissors lose to rock. And remember, it's scissors with an S. Be very careful of that. In that instance, kids, the winner, you guessed it, is the player. That's one choice. 2 more to go. Need another and statement, and then 2 equals. And this time, if player choice equals rock, and the next one is paper, and the computer choice, and what does paper lose to? Rock for some reason, kids. You can explain that one in the comments. Well, on this one, winner equal player again. One more. It's 2 choices. Rock, paper. One more is scissors. This one again, player choice. Scissors. Remember your spelling, kids. And what does scissors beat? Paper. And in that instance, once again, kids, you guessed it, the winner is Leia, but spelled right. That means if it's a tie or I choose one of these, I'm going to win. Anything else, kids? Anything else other than these selections? The winner is going to be computer. Wow, wow. And what do we want to return here, kids? We don't want to return player. We want to return winner. And we don't want it in quotes here, so be careful. And that'll just bring back what winner is. Woo! That's a lot of coding, kids. I think that's everything, though. Let's go ahead and hit run. Let's see if we get any errors. Whoop. Looks like rock and rock. I got a win. Doesn't look like the icons are updating here, kids. Let's take a look. Well, if we come down here, we can see I didn't look at my return here. Right now, I'm returning icons at 0, which happens to be a rock. And I don't want to return that, kids. What I want to return is my variable, icon, which is whatever position it was selected at. See how important that is? All right, let's reset run. A draw. Both got rock. Paper beats rock. Look at me go. Scissor beats paper. I'm on a streak, kids. Oh, of course I said something. Well, looks like it's working pretty well for me. And I'm winning, so I'm happy. Just to go through this real quick, kids, we have a variable icons, which is the picture. We have our choices, which is rock, paper, scissor. These are both in the corresponding positions, 0, 0, 1, 1, 2, 2. We have a variable to hold this score right here. If I click rock, paper, or scissors, I am passing the parameter rock, paper, or scissors onto the update screen. The update screen is getting my choice and it's passing it down. Under update screen, we have a variable computer choice, which is a random choice. And all this is, kids, is a random number generator from 0 to our list length, which is 0, 1, 2, the length of our numbers of our selections. That RNG is coming back up here, and that choice is being selected, rock, paper, or scissors. The winner is being decided by the decide winner function, and the decide winner function is just getting the player choice and computer choice passed along, and it's just basically saying, hey, if player choice and computer choice, well, that's going to be a draw. If the player chooses rock and the computer chooses scissors, player wins. Player chooses paper, computer chooses rock, player wins. Player chooses scissors, computer chooses paper, well, the player wins. And remember, kids, there can only be 3 outcomes: win, tie, lose. This handles the win and tie. Anything else, computer's going to win. Then we're updating these 2 images here by finding the icon of the player choice and the computer choice. And all that's saying here is if we get rock, well, the icon is going to equal the icon position at 0. And we saw if we just kept this at 0, these always stayed at rock for both of them. This one is just updating them for the rock, paper, and scissors. And that's, again, corresponding to 0, 1, 2 right here. After that, we're just setting some properties. If we got draw, then we are just saying draw up here. If we get winner equals a player, then we are updating the player score here and saying win. If the computer's the winner, well, we're updating the computer score here. We're saying computer wins. And kids, that's our code to make a rock, paper, scissors game. Hopefully you found this helpful. As always, kids, if you have any questions, you can come see me. Otherwise, I'll see you on the next video. See you later, kids. Bye, bye, bye.